On February 26, 2022, the West dropped what they called the financial nuclear bomb on Russia. Total disconnection from SWIFT and the freezing of $300 billion in central bank reserves. The headline screamed, "The ruble is toast. Russia's economy will collapse in weeks. Putin is finished." 2.5 years later, the ruble is one of the best performing currencies on Earth. Russia's GDP is growing faster than Germany's, and the weapon that was supposed to end the war instead detonated the dollar's 80-year monopoly. This wasn't the first time a dying empire fired its ultimate financial weapon and blew its own hand off. It's happened 4 times in 110 years. Exact same pattern, exact same suicide. Today, you're going to see that pattern in blood-red detail, the hard data proving it's happening right now, and why the U.S. has roughly 20 years, maybe less, before the dollar is just another currency. Buckle up. This is the biggest story in money most people still refuse to believe. Let's start with the weapon itself. SWIFT isn't a bank. It's the secure texting service 11,000 banks in 200 countries use to say, send $100 million from New York to Tokyo. $5 trillion moves on those messages every single day. Cut a country off, and you supposedly choke it to death. In 2012, the U.S. forced SWIFT to disconnect Iran. Oil exports crashed 60%, inflation hit 45%, and Tehran crawled to the negotiating table. The weapon worked perfectly on a mid-sized oil state. Then they tried it on Russia, 11th largest economy, nuclear power, the world's biggest energy exporter. Big mistake. Stage 1 of the pattern, the empire controls the rails. The U.S. doesn't own SWIFT, it's in Belgium. But 88% of SWIFT messages ultimately clear in dollars through New York. One phone call from the Treasury and you're excommunicated from global finance. Stage 2. The empire weaponizes the rails. February 2022. Russia kicked out, reserves frozen overnight. Western TV celebrated like it was VE Day. Stage 3. The target refuses to die. Russia jacked interest rates to 20%, forced Europe to pay for gas in rubles, redirected every drop of oil to China and India at discount, and settled in yuan, rupees, dirhams. By summer 2022, the ruble was back stronger than before. GDP grew 3.6% in 2023, while Germany shrank. Stage 4, every neutral country on the planet gets the message. That could be us tomorrow. China slashes U.S. treasuries from $1.3 trillion to $775 billion and hoards gold like it's 1944. Saudi Arabia starts selling oil to China in yuan, breaking the 50-year petrodollar deal. India pays Russia in rupees. Brazil, Argentina plan a common currency. BRICS, now 9 countries, 45% of world population, 42% of oil, openly designs a gold-backed trade unit. Stage 5. The weapon becomes useless forever. The dollar's share of global reserves, 71% in 2000, 58% today. Trade settlement in dollars, 73% in 2022, approximately 54% in 2024. That's the fastest de-dollarization ever recorded. This is not theory. It's history rhyming in real time. 1914. Britain seizes German assets worldwide. Neutral countries dump sterling. Pound loses reserve status exactly 30 years later at Bretton Woods 1944. 1979. Carter freezes $12 billion Iranian assets. OPEC panics, diversifies, dollar share begins long slide. 2022. Biden freezes $300 billion Russian reserves and boots banks from SWIFT. The entire global south sprints toward alternatives. Same 5-stage suicide, only this time technology makes it 3 to 5 times faster. Look at the numbers exploding right now. China's CIPS, their SWIFT, went from $12 trillion processed in 2020 to $27 trillion in 2023. Central banks bought 1,000 plus tons of gold 3 years straight, highest since Nixon closed the gold window. Russia-China trade, $240 billion in 2023, 95% in rubles, yuan. Saudi, UAE, India, Malaysia, Brazil, all pricing oil in non-dollar currencies for the first time since 1974. The petrodollar monopoly is shattered, and once the monopoly cracks, network effects run in reverse. Timeline? Britain took 30 years from weaponization to replacement. The US started the clock in 2022. Modern digital rails and existing alternatives, CIPS, SPFS, UPI, and Bridge, mean this round will be faster, 15 to 25 years max. Call it 2037 to 2047 before the dollar drops below 40% of reserves and the exorbitant privilege dies. America will still be rich, just a normal rich, forced to live within its means for the first time since World War II. Who wins? China, patient, manufacturing juggernaut with CIPS, gold vaults, and the Belt and Road payment web, wins by default. Russia wins by proving the empire is naked. BRICS middle powers win bargaining power. Gold wins, crypto wins, every alternative rail wins. Who loses? The United States loses the ability to print endless deficits at 1% interest. Europe, for tying itself to a declining dollar, loses even harder. Swift itself becomes Blockbuster Video, a once dominant network everyone quietly abandons. The cruel irony? The sanctions designed to cripple Russia instead administered the fatal wound to American financial hegemony. Financial weapons are nuclear weapons. You can only credibly use them once. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, every rival built their own bomb. After February 2022, every rival built their own Swift. The dollar didn't lose its throne because China invaded Taiwan or Russia marched to Warsaw. It lost its throne because Washington handed the world the blueprint and the motivation to tear the throne apart. This is the biggest story in geopolitics, and it's already written in the data. The Swift bomb didn't destroy Russia. It detonated the dollar's monopoly, and the countdown is on.